This is the first screen that you will see when you start Avenza. The Getting Started with Avenza screen is actually a map in itself, but the map is actually on the right-hand side of the screen and I'm not showing it. But this is your help file. This page has all of the information and all of the features that Avenza has, and this acts as your menu system. The features and tools that you read above are the same that you see highlighted in red below, and then also on the next page. So if you ever forget part of this course, or if you ever need to go back and remember how do I do something, this page is a good place to go to start. So the things that I want you to see here are the icons at the bottom of the page. These icons will be your menu that you use on every map. But for right now, at the top left-hand corner, pressing the left arrow would take you to the My Maps page. This is the My Maps page. On this page, you will see all the maps that you have previously loaded. This also is where you would load a new map of either the area that you're about to search or an area that you are about to hike. You do this by clicking on the plus icon on the lower right-hand corner of the page. You can add a folder to store maps that you have downloaded from the Avenza Map Store. I will talk about that momentarily, but the key thing we want right here is to download or import a map. This is how we will get our search map into Avenza. There are 4 ways to get a map into Avenza. The first way is to get a map from the Avenza Map Store. Many of these maps cost money, but all of the East Bay Regional Park maps are free, and you can download any number of them into Avenza. The ones that I have downloaded, I have stored in a folder called EBRP Maps. This is the reason for adding a folder to your system. The second way to get maps into the system is to load them in from device storage. So for example, I have a folder on my phone that has all of my non-free or non-store maps, and I can then pull maps back in from that folder on my phone. Again, free Avenza, which is what I am running, only allows me to have 3 maps that are currently active. That is to say, I can only have 3 free non-store apps active at any one time. So in order to add a new non-store app, I have to delete one of them from the map app itself, and then I can recall it from the folder on my phone as necessary. The third way is to type in the URL of a SARTOPO print file. And this is what we see at the bottom of the screen. They've typed in the P and then the 4-digit code from the print file that SARTOPO creates. Finally, instead of typing in the URL, we can go to the top right corner of the screen and we see the little QR barcode symbol. Now, at least this is in Android. I'm not sure where it is on the iPhone. But clicking on this allows us to scan the barcode at the bottom of the Avenza PDF file and import the map that way. To import a map into Avenza, you can either type in the URL as you see at the top of the screen here on the print file, or you scan the QR code at the bottom right-hand corner of the print file. This actually encodes the same URL that you would see at the top, and by scanning it, you can pull it directly into Avenza without having to do any typing. Once Avenza has finished loading your map, the menu on the bottom of the screen becomes active. The crosshairs is useful because pressing it will show your location on the map as a blue dot. This is useful because many times you're not running Avenza all the time. It is just sitting in your pocket, but you may want to pull it out and check to make sure where you are on a trail or if you still are on a trail. Pressing on the crosshair will bring the dot up, and it doesn't continue to use GPS full time, which allows you to save your battery. The second item on the bottom of the screen, the little drop pin, is used to place what they call a place marker, or we would call a marker or just a pin, on the map. It will always place the pin at the center of the crosshair, which is always located in the center of the screen. You move the map underneath the crosshairs to go to a different location. This placing of the pin is very useful for showing the location of a clue, and you can even add a photo at that location as well. The pin will import into Sartopo as a marker. The photo will not import. Pressing on the latitude-longitude menu item at the bottom of the screen will bring up the new screen to the right, which shows you the different formats that you can show latitude, longitude, whether degrees, minutes, seconds, degrees, decimal seconds. It also has UTMs and national grid. Those are not shown, but they're at the bottom of the screen. Sweeping upwards on the line above the latitude, longitude will take us to the tracking screen. I will discuss that again in 2 more slides. On the screen to the left, if we press on the 3 dots in the lower right-hand corner, this will take us to the menu system on the screen to the right. There are 2 items that interest us here. One is Find by Coordinates. If you are given, for example, a UTM, you can use this menu item to enter those coordinates, and it will show that location by centering the crosshairs on the map at that location. The other item that we will use off this menu, probably more often, is to record our GPS tracks. Clicking on this item will take us to the next screen. When you first come to this screen, instead of saying pause tracking, it will say start tracking. When you press that button, tracking will start and the menu item will change to pause tracking, and you will also get a stop tracking menu item, which on my phone is hidden below but is pointed to by the red arrow. You do not need to keep this screen up to continue tracking. It will run even though the screen is turned off. One way you can tell that it is running, at least on Android, is by seeing the location notification at the top of the screen in the menu bar. One additional thing to note is that you can be in airplane mode and this will still work. Once you stop your map, by pressing the stop button, you will go to the screen to the right, and then in the lower right hand corner you will see the pin and the layers icon. This is how we export our layers back into Sartopo. In Avenza, anything that you put on the map is called a layer, whether it's a placeholder, whether it is a line or a track. On the screen to the left is where you would select all of your layers that you want to export. You would then click on the layers icon in the lower right hand corner. This will take us to the screen on the right where we say what we want to do is to export these layers. Here in the export layer screen is where we name our track. In this case, we have called it team1.gpx. The export format we select to be GPX. Technically, you can export a KML file into Sartopo, but there is no difference between that and GPX, so let's stay standard with GPX. And then finally, we click on the Export button, and that is what opens up the screen on the right. We say we want to share our file, and we're going to share that file via Gmail. Technically, we could also share it via a Google Drive for the CocoSAR account, And technically we could share it via Slack, although not everybody on the team uses Slack, and our preferred method is to use Gmail. So we click on the Gmail icon on the screen above. On my phone and using the Gmail app, Avenza will automatically open up a new message for me and attach the GPX file to it. All that I need to do is to select the to recipient from my contact list. In this case, I always select Command Post. If you haven't got Command Post in your contact list, you should really put it there. The address looks like this. So this is it. We have imported a map from Sartopo. We have gone over the menu items. We created our track, and then we exported our track back to Sartopo by sharing it via email. This is how we use Avenza.